See what happens.
Thank you, folks.
Okay, well, good to see you.
You ought to be able to.
I've
Okay.
turned it down and I've relaunched 3 times and I get a text message. That's all I get. I can try it again if you want.
Wait, Linda is turning us on.
You're on.
Oh, we're on.
They may have to do it with just audio through the phone.
Can you hear us? I don't have the speaker on because it'll reverb.
And what it does is it launches and then it closes and then it closes. Opens up a second time. I get a notice that room 130 and a test pattern.
Don't know anything after that. I'm doing what I can do.
You're done. Could we at least go with audio? Can you hear us okay? Okay.
Right?
We're hearing him on the phone.
I think so, yeah. Okay.
I want them to be able to talk.
We'll let them know that we can see him too.
We can see you. Oh. The camera here is on. You should see us at the table.
We see a test pattern.
Okay. And can you hear us okay?
On the signal right now.
I see.
And clean up on Slack.
Well, you don't have to put it on speaker because
Yeah.
he can, as long as he can hear you on the phone, you can hear him through that.
Good enough.
And-
I don't have it on speaker. I have it on.
Okay.
As if
Just
it was
regular,
on the phone.
okay. Because you can hear him through that and
Okay.
then he can hear you through that.
All right.
That's the best I could do for you.
We're ready?
I don't know what the disconnect is on the other side, so
Okay.
I can't. You should be good.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Today is Tuesday, July 15th. It's 10 of 8, or 20 of 8. And this is the monthly Historic District Commission meeting for the town of East Haddam. Welcome. We have 2 public hearings before us. The first one for 45 Main Street for the Curry residence, is it? And George Fellner will be representing that property owner regarding their application. The application reads, this is for Windows, right?
Say it again.
This is the application for window.
Yes, for the windows, correct.
Window replacement, application 2501, 45 Main Street. Fellner Architects to represent the applicants Mary Curry and Jonathan Levine. It's map 26 lot 1, and it's about window replacements. So, George, welcome, go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Before I start, let me give you the green card.
Thank you.
Okay, so glad we can start.
Okay.
So I know a few months have gone by, so it would help for me to just sort of give you a little background review just to kind of get everybody back on the same page. So this is, it's known as the George Douglas House. that was constructed back in the 1850s. It was built by George Douglas, who was born in Boston around 1801. In 1831, he leased what is now the Champion House from Noah Bulkley, and he operated it as an inn, and he coined the term Steamboat Hotel, which I'm sure you've all heard. In its heyday, that was its name, and he was the innkeeper until 1852. Does it sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
George, can you still, I'm not George. Joe, can you still hear us?
Cannot hear George,
Okay.
at all.
If you want to come right underneath the microphone. Sorry.
I'm underneath more. How's that?
That big green thing. Joe, how is that?
Stand on the table.
All right, this is a test. Can you hear? What do you hear?
Can you hear George?
How can he hear you, but he can't hear me? We're both.
It's through the phone. I think he's hearing
Oh,
through the
how
phone.
about if we move the phone over here? Does that help?
Sure.
We're gonna move the phone closer to me. How's that?
That's
Good. We moved the phone closer to me.
Okay.
Okay. So, a two-level addition was added to the house in the 1920s. And during the 1960s, a gentleman by the name of Hubbard Cobb was the editor of the Ladies' Home Journal, and he renovated the house. That was in the 1960s. The final addition was done in 2003. It was a two-level addition at the rear of the building. So this Greek Revival house is really what we're here to talk about, and you've all seen it. Many of you came to the site walk a number of months ago. And the reason we're here is because the windows need work. Basically, the goal is to have properly functioning windows that are energy efficient and also maintain the architectural integrity of the house, of the region, and all of that. A considerable amount of work was done in terms of analyzing what can be done in terms of feasibility with the intent of trying to keep the original windows wherever we can. We also, you remember we went through a change in window companies down way back where we decided to switch over to Green Mountain windows for its obvious attributes. And a team was basically put together. Jim King of OHD Historic Restoration of Southeastern Connecticut has served as a consultant for the client, and he will also be doing the restoration of the designated windows. He also put together a letter with some of his comments and suggestions that was back in April 26th, 2025. Because of the complexity of the project and all the many different types of windows, I orchestrated a site meeting that was held on May 15th, and this consisted of the Green Mountain representative, Jim King, the client, the general contractor, myself, and my project manager from my office. And so we basically were there to look at those existing windows and look at the potential strategies for restoration and as well as adding the Green Mountain thermal screens to give it that extra layer for energy efficiency. We concluded that the system that was originally suggested by Green Mountain wasn't quite right, and after going over all the different scenarios, we verbalized a way of doing it. I can't get into the details because I haven't seen the final shop drawings of it, but that will be once they get the green light, pardon the pun, but once they get the green light from the client, they will put together the shop drawings. So the building has, as I mentioned, there's a complexity in that some of the windows are from the original 1850s. I'll identify them in a minute. There are some windows that were done in the 1980s, There are some other windows that are from the 2000s, early 2000s. Particularly the windows from the 1980s had a number of issues, poor conditions with the metal track, the spring balances, significant amount of window leakage. And it was determined that any type of removal of those windows would damage, most likely damage the tracks. So the suggestion was made by Jim King that those windows should be replaced. So that is the goal, and ultimately, our feeling is that this responsive and appropriate approach would basically uphold the integrity of the building to the most optimal way that we can. As you can see, we put a lot of effort into trying to do that. So what I also did since the first time around is instead of just having these elevations with marked windows, for the sake of clarity and to get all the various team players on the same page, I took the floor plans that we had done when we did the interior renovations. This is prior to the window project. We had renovated the interior of the lower level in the kitchen, so we had existing floor plans. So I was able to take those, clean them up, and just basically focus on the windows. And so what I'm going to do is show you, we have three different designations, A, B, and C. A signifies the original existing windows that we would like to restore, doing the invisible weather what do you call it?
Shields.
Yeah, weather stripping, and also adding the new thermal screens. Yes.
Joe, for you should have gotten in the mail a packet with photographs, and on the back is a plot floor plan as the last page on that.
I don't know if you heard me. Okay.
You did not get a packet? Okay, all right. There's some photographs, and on the back of the photographs is the plan that he's talking about with the windows.
Okay, so I described A. The B designation would be those windows that we would replace with the Green Mountain replacement windows. And that C designation is where we would leave the existing windows, and I'll tell you why. So if you focus on the plans, I'm going to show you on the first floor, facing east, which is the front elevation, facing the road. On the first floor, the two windows are existing original windows. Our intent is to keep those windows, do the restoration, and add the thermal screens. While we're on that elevation, upstairs on the second floor, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to keep the existing windows, the A designation, and do the thermal screens. Moving on up into the attic, that attic window will also be restored. So we're not looking to replace. As we go on to the south elevation, there is an existing window which is by the stair. We're going to keep that window and restore it as well as an A. These windows, I believe these had been replaced at some point. I think they're from the 2000s, and I don't think they want to do, other than doing some minor restoration, there's no reason to want to change that. So I think on the elevations, I marked it as B, but this is what supersedes that. These B windows would be replaced. These are also on the south elevation. Moving over to the west elevation, in the front, at the living room, notice I put a C there. And originally this was an A, but the reason it's a C is because there's a very good chance that the owners will consider building an addition on this side for a bedroom. So if they replace and put that bedroom there, there's no reason for that window to be. So moving along the edge, these two windows in the kitchen also would remain and be restored. Windows in the living room would be replaced. And upstairs, the A window would remain and restored. These B windows would be the ones to be replaced. As you know, in that upper room where we have those wall windows loaded to the floor, those would be replaced. So in the basement, this is another C because this is again where the addition would go. So that would be the adjoining wall between the existing living room and the new bedroom. So the others would be replaced. There's 3 here, and there's another basement window here near grade on south side. So I also, not that it matters to you, but there's an L, those are limiters, so whenever, by code, anytime you're a certain height above grade, you don't want small children or animals falling out, so there's a limiter that will prevent the window to be open more than it has to. Also tempered glass wherever it be needed by code. There's a shower within 5 feet of a wall, or various reasons why you need tempered glass are marked so that the Green Mountain people will know. They said they knew where they go, but I said I want to mark it anyway because that's what we do. So, I think I covered everything that I wanted to
So
describe.
the Green Mountain thermals are what would be detailed here.
It's near the back of your set. Yes, that's correct. That's a photo of one of them. And they will be sending, like I said, shop drawings. I haven't seen them yet. That's gonna get changed. That's. I mentioned the intent is to keep the exterior trim. We don't want to mess with that unless it just needs some repair work.
So from the exterior, hopefully it'll look like it does.
That's what everybody wants. That's what the client wants. We all want that.
I've got a few. So there's between this packet and this, there's a few just different windows that are marked differently or described differently. So for the basement windows, the 2 front little ones, it's said on these that they're going to be kept, but on that it's one of them says they're going to be replaced. So also, what are they going to be?
You talk about these two?
Yeah.
Right. So I mentioned that. This one is going to be kept because this is where the addition would go. And this one is going to be replaced.
With what are they going to be replaced with? Because those two, the rest you mentioned what they're going to be replaced with, but those
Green Mountain windows.
Yeah, but like, what type? Will it swing up? Will it, like, what type of window?
I believe there will be awning
Okay.
windows.
Will it be 3 light like the existing ones?
They were told to match, so.
Okay. And are those in inoperable bad condition? Just like, okay. And the other thing I had that just didn't sit well with me was on the plan there, the note that says if for any reason the thermal screen does not properly function, then the windows will be replaced with new Green Mountain insert replacement windows as a backup strategy. To me, that just, I don't know what is the definition of does not operate properly. And I also, there's other storm windows, and there's a letter from Jim King saying the 1850s windows were good. So I just don't think it's, like, it feels like a back door kind of.
It's not a back door, it's a safety in case there's some unforeseen reason why it doesn't work. The client said, please just put that on the drawing so that they have some kind of reasonable backup plan if it doesn't work. When they bring that first window out, even though they brought out a stock sample window when we had that meeting in May, until they bring that first one out and test it, that's going to be basically it. And my feeling is that we couldn't have done any more than we did in making sure that it's going to they all say it's gonna work. Green Mountain says it's gonna work, Jim says it's gonna work, the general contractor said it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work, and so does my project manager. So I think we're 99.9% pretty safe that it's gonna work.
Okay. I would feel more comfortable if it was the wording was switched to an alternate storm window rather than replace. Just because we've gone through so much work, I think it would be a shame if we were to just.
What kind of alternate storm window?
There's Allied Storm Window. There's several storm window brands. I don't know the specific one you'd want to pursue based on the client's needs or wishes, but any type, just instead of replacement and alternate storm.
Does anyone else have any comments about it?
I think this is all about, a lot of these projects are the same thing, you know, this is all about spirit and intent. And I think it's very clear that there's been a sincere effort to do this and do this in harmony with the entire project team and the commission team. And like I say, I'm not concerned about somebody, I don't think they're gonna do anything irrational, because I think there's been so much effort to try and do this right. So like I say, I'm not an expert on what language should be on a drawing. But like I say, for me, I think it's very clear that the intention here has been very positive and very, again, sincere, to restore this, if you will, with real sympathy, real sympathetic, restoration effort.
I agree.
Slash replacement effort. So that's all. I would. Again, if you don't have any, you're the expert. I mean, if you don't have any off-the-cuff language, that if that's the language, that's the language. I mean,
I've never had anybody dictate to me how I should use wording of my plans. So 35 years of practice. So I think that I've proven over my career that I have integrity in my work.
I'm not disputing your integrity at all. I think you're great. I'm just saying, I'm not disputing it like I don't like how it's worded. I'm just disputing the meaning. I just don't love the idea of the potential that the windows could be replaced without another commission meeting. That's just my thing. You're perfect. There's nothing wrong with you or your wording. It's just the meaning.
what was the language?
If for any reason the thermal screen does not properly function, then the windows will be replaced with Green Mountain insert replacement windows as a backup strategy.
In keeping with the overall intent of the project. Something like that.
I can add that phrase.
Keeping with the overall intent of the spirit and intent of the project. Yeah, you're not going to go to Home Depot and buy a window. So,
The owners wouldn't have bought the house if they were to do it. They are, of all the clients I've had, they are one of the most sincere and sensitive clients, and they're very much on the same page.
keeping with the spirit and intent of the project.
For clarity, Jack, you're talking about all the windows that are marked as A.
Yeah, the windows that are marked with A, the note that goes with them, that says that if the thermal screen does not function properly, they will be replaced.
Again, I want to say that, if I can just comment, the time that we have spent between all the players at that site meeting and all the emails and everything, there's probably about 16 hours of time that went into seeing how that would work.
I appreciate that, and
I don't know what else do you want?
I think this plan's great. I have no problem with the plan. I think all the work you put in is amazing. All I'm just saying is that it just doesn't make me feel great that they might be replaced. I think it would be good to have insurance that they would not be replaced if there was a problem with the storms, because the problem is not with the windows themselves, but with the storms. So to me, it would seem like the best alternative would be to pursue a different storm window rather than replacing windows that are in otherwise good condition.
Is there another storm window application or company that you can provide?
Allied Storm Window?
We've been going through this a number of meetings, and I don't know if Allied's been brought up.
I brought it up on the first one, is between Green Mountain and Allied. They're different types of storms.
We are under an obligation that now that this is a public hearing, we do have a deadline for making the decision. It's also mid-July, and they're gonna have to replace these windows before winter. So, there's that. It doesn't seem that
They were
this
hoping
is
to start 2 months ago.
it seemed pretty clear that this has not been a hurried matter.
And just to clarify, you had indicated, I'm not sure exactly what specification, but in lining up the various players in the project, I mean, you're talking about like a 99% confidence rate.
Yeah. I spoke to each one of them after the meeting, and they all pretty much confirmed that they're comfortable that it's going to work. So
The public is here.
Yeah, it's an interesting issue, right? If I'm hearing this correctly, you have done a great deal of work working with the Historic Commission to make sure that there's a look and a preservation feel in terms of what's going on. It seems like the crux of the issue are the A windows, which I assume are the original historic windows, which the commission's duty is to protect. And I think if I'm hearing it correctly, the worry is that with that particular wording, at any point, if these storm windows don't work the way the owners want them to, that they could replace the original historic windows with replacement, rather than investigating a separate storm that might allow keeping the original fabric of the house.
which would be the Green Mountain windows that are going to be used in all the other B windows. So they would all be consistent.
Yes, I'm just clarifying for myself kind of what I think the issue going on here. It is, one piece is at all costs keeping the historic fabric of the home, and worrying down the road, is the definition broad enough to say 5 years from now, if the Green Mountain window fails, they can replace with a replacement window, as opposed to immediately, if they put them in and observe that they're not working the way they should, they would then replace. So it kind of leaves in perpetuity the ability to take the original window, which I think the commission is interested in protecting, and replacing that with a new window.
I think it is in Green, it's hard to talk with the double. With the Green Mountain people having a significant interest in the project moving forward, are going to do everything they can to achieve the detail that will work. So if for some reason they come out and that first sample piece that they fit in has a problem, they will go back to the drawing board and make the edits and make it work. I'm comfortable with that. I mean, that's the nature of this type of work.
Another option, if you were talking about, and I think I got to correct that phone. It's still picking up.
Oh, okay.
If we're talking about, this is going to be something that some years down the road, we can put a stipulation that we reopen that again to the future point.
Okay.
I'm just talking about, here's what happens.
Tweak the language with the stipulation.
Mr. Zerlis, we just lost him again?
So tweak the language with the stipulation. So
Pardon me? Yeah,
we tweak the language, as I said, with the stipulation.
we just lost Joe again, so.
What is the language you'd like me to use?
Say something in keeping with the.
All what we said before.
I'm not.
And one that would just, if they ever failed in the future, we'd revisit the issue in front of the commission.
Right.
So it's like not a in perpetuity.
Okay.
He's back.
Hello again, Joe. I did not bring this up. Two of our regular members are not here tonight, and I would like to appoint Jack Lovejoy and Carlos Tofto to serve as regular commissioners. Sorry about that. I don't mean to do that. Joe, can you hear us okay? Yeah, right, you're hearing my phone. It should just be you hearing it as a regular telephone, but apparently it's picking up the speaker thing. Now it's not doing that. Do you have? Okay. What do you have questions or comment to what has been presented so far? Okay. When you went when we lost your signal for a minute, it was proposed that if we go forward with this, that the stipulation be on the approval of that. If something happens where these windows do not work, that the applicants would come back to us and say, you know what, let's revisit this. But that could be 5 years or 8 years from now. Does that make sense, or did you hear me? While we lost you, there was a suggestion that in reviewing this proposal, in order to help it move forward, given all the time that's gone into this, that the stipulation would be in a motion that would say, if it turns out that these windows are not working as they're supposed to, that the owners could come back and review this.
Sounds good.
Okay. If there is no other comment or questions, I'd entertain a motion.
Before that, there was one question about the specifics of the application. So the application is really, what is it, 2501.1? Because according to the agenda, under 2501, there's the window project and the pool project.
The pool project isn't being presented to us right now.
I know it's not, but my point is, if we make a motion against application 2501,
For the windows.
we have to stipulate it's for the windows, in other words. So fine, I make a motion to approve application 2501, specifically for the window project. Approve as presented, with the stipulation that what are we adding? What was that final? Down the road?
That it's in keeping as
Let him finish and then.
Again, again, to ensure that if there is an issue, we come back to the commission for a resolution. If there's a functional problem, it has to come back to the commission for a resolution. Something like that. Does that work in your world?
It's gonna have to work.
I don't know, but again, from an argument.
What I'm saying is gonna have to work that they make it work on site,
Right,
so.
exactly, yeah.
because I don't think they're gonna wanna come back.
I wouldn't think so either. That's the motion.
Okay, Jack?
I second it.
Okay. Carl, any? Okay. All right, then I'll go entertain a vote. Ayes?
Aye.
Okay. Then that passes unanimously. Right. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you, George, for all your work on this. So we're moving this up here closer so you can hear the next part. And they don't have an application number on this, but I guess this would be 2502. And it's 9 Main Street. And this is regarding a proposal to, it really sounds like making a new ground level platform to be installed on the front patio at 9 Main Street for performers. There is a patio there already. It may be higher, and if that's the case, they would need to put fencing on one side. So it's a contractor around a level platform, approximately construct a ground level platform about 10 by 14 on existing patio over a raised section of the patio. I'm trying to read somebody else's handwriting here. Would be done with proper fasteners and sonotubes under the ground below the frost line and finished with composite decking and railings along the south side, which may be necessary because this is going to be a performance thing, and that I know that the site is not even anyway. So we don't have anybody here to present with this, which is another barrier because we don't know what else their intent is. They've provided us that they have a certificate of insurance for the contractor.
Okay, go back to further.
Pardon me?
The agenda says this is just informal discussion. There's no,
Right.
I don't see
Okay,
anything that
this is
says
informal.
application.
Okay. So this is not a hearing.
This is not a hearing.
But they did stop and pay the fee, so to do an application.
I just don't know what the agenda says.
Then we need to have somebody here to present it, so I would entertain we table this until next month.
But I think if, from an informal discussion point of view, I think this is going to beg the question of, there's more than just a platform here. So theoretically, there's lighting, there's a backdrop, there's a name on the wall, I mean, you know, a stage set behind it, you know, so what does this really entail? So because I don't think that what we have right here fully describes what's gonna go on here, so.
In the past, I don't know how many restaurants before, on evenings when they had performances, with the band would come, they would do all of their setup, the stage would be set up, anything that goes into the background would be set up. I don't really feel that anything needs to be permanent.
Yeah.
Well, I agree. No, it doesn't have to be. But that's the question.
Yeah.
So the point is that if somebody comes in, they have an evening performance, they put up some temporary lighting or what have you, well, that's what they do. But my concern is that would this lead to something more permanent?
That they don't go for approval.
They don't go for approval.
Yeah.
Well, we address it up front to understand what's going to happen. Because, yeah, I can see people coming in and one group comes in and the guy's sitting there playing guitar, you know, and another group comes in and you got 3 or 4 guys with lights and stuff. So it's going to be, you know, it could vary, but the problem is, are they going to build a stage set or is it just going to be a platform? That's what.
Or one group does it, then complains to the owner, and the owner's like, oh, well, I need some more lights, and then they put the lights in.
Because also they use this area out here for
Lost your Zoom.
tables, seating,
Yeah.
and for dining.
My question is, they have all the bluestone, why don't they just raise the bluestone and create a elevated patio with the bluestone? Or why don't they just get rid of the elevated bluestone patio that's there and make it all level? And then you have the same space without all the plastics and composite decking.
I think we're saying the same thing. We're talking about a lot of. I
Yeah.
think basically
Yeah.
this leads to just more questions than answers.
I
It's fine. mean, that's what we
did
heard.
get an email from Planning and Zoning this morning, and the owners of the property also want to apply to have a new actual permanent sign put in. And I believe they could combine this and that and have it as a more formal application.
So
Yeah.
the sign that's there now is not going to be a permanent sign.
I don't recall what is there. I know
There's-
last I saw it looked like
Jimmy's,
There's a
Jimmy's Restaurant.
there's a banner
Banner.
that says
There's a banner.
C'est La Vie LLC presents Jimmy's Legacy Bar and Grill.
okay. That's
Coming
been up
soon.
there, but that's clearly a
Yeah,
temporary.
it's temporary. I don't know what their goal
Looked
for
like
the
a
main.
sign to me.
No, it was banners.
Yeah, it's a
I think
banner.
there are 2 banners. I think, could be wrong. Maybe it changed, it could change.
There was 2 different banners because first it was going to be called C'est La Vie,
Mhm.
and then it became C'est La Vie presents Jimmy's Legacy.
Jimmy's came in. That's good.
Well, I'll have to take a look at it, but it sure looked like a sign to me.
So long story short, tabling. I assume?
They want to come before us to do an application for a real sign. It seems they could put this together with that.
So
and
Tonight.
present it in a more formal.
So table and recommend that they combine the 2 applications?
Yeah. That work with everybody? Joe, I don't know if you still hear this?
I'm listening.
Okay, because we lost your Zoom feed again.
That's a good thing.
I know.
Okay.
All I'm getting is a test pattern here.
Oh, and we're not even we're getting a test pattern too. And it's backwards.
It is. That's interesting.
All right, so motion to table and move to the next. Ayes?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Another informal discussion that we have tonight is 5 Landing Hill Road. And this is replacement, the discussion about replacement of a fence that had been around the property and up along the, I forget, you call that
The
something.
terrace.
Thank you. I know I've seen a number of photographs about what was there. I think I actually sent you guys some, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And for the record, so if you speak your name that you're representing Mr. Lovejoy,
Sure, my name's David Lovejoy. I live at 5 Landing Hill Road, in East Haddam, Connecticut.
And tell us about your proposal. And Joe, I'm sorry we don't have pictures to send you, but we could remedy that.
I have them on my computer.
Okay. Jack can send them to Jane after the meeting.
That sounds good.
Okay.
So our proposal is to recreate a fence that originally existed on the property. And the property, if you've kind of driven by it or are familiar with it, has a wall that surrounds it with 2 granite staircases coming up on the south side of the house, up this wall. And this fence was extremely elaborate when it was originally put up. It surrounded the entire house. It went up both staircases. It also spanned another stone wall that headed south down Landing Hill Road.
To 3 Landing Hill.
Yeah.
Right.
The fence itself was a wooden fence. It was a stockade type fence with the pickets that would extend through the rail. So it's a complex design. We are approaching this in a step-by-step or stepwise fashion. It's an incredibly expensive fence to build, to have it look original. So we've got some estimates, and we're really only going to be able, at this point, to create a span on the south side of the house on the large wall. The notion here is if you fall off our front wall, it's probably an orthopedic injury. If you fall off our south wall, it's a neurosurgical injury. So we would like to protect those who walk on that wall with a fence as best we can. And if you know anything about Jack, that fence has got to be exact in terms of how it looks and how it represents the original. So we're proposing that we build a span on the south side on the top of that wall, and then over time save our money and build fence elsewhere, either coming up those 2 staircases or across the front of the house. Right now, that's just not in the budget.
Over time, there was a stone wall that ran the course from the house down to the stone wall at number 3.
It's still there.
It's still there. It's behind the arborvitae.
There's one section that has become open to a yard, and you're using that for parking. Do you want to
Yes.
still use that for parking?
Yeah, when we moved in there, a part of that stone wall had been removed, and it allows for vehicle access into that lower lawn, which has actually been pretty useful because that's where the septic tank is.
Right.
So vehicles have to be able to come through there, so it is useful. But you're right, it is no longer a continuous wall. There is a break in it large enough for a car or a truck to come through.
So that would remain.
That would remain. We're not proposing that we, at least at this point, in any budget I know of, the fence that runs continuously down Landing Hill Road. This is just surrounding the house and the staircases that rise to the top of that wall.
I have a bird's eye plan that I can show you if you want, where we plan on putting it back eventually.
Because we'll continue this. I don't think we need that tonight.
The only thing important tonight is to understand that if the plan has got some sort of following cadence with it, maybe it's best to put the entire plan in and then piecemeal the bill. In other words, I hate to see you put in a plan for one part of it.
Yes, yes,
And then you go back and try and do something else
yes.
and just making it up. The guy across the street says, I don't like the thing. So who knows? Who knows? You know?
Yeah.
So I think going in, the going in proposition should be the whole plan, and then we can always extend. If a certain portion has been done, we can then get an extension for it. So I think it might be a safer way to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else's opinion, but
I would agree with that. I would prefer to put in a thorough plan and just indicate that over time, we're going to build these different sections. It is essentially replacing the historic fabric that was lost in the 80s when
Right.
part of the rock wall had fallen and took the fence with it, and they never replaced it.
The other thing you wanted me to note last time was that the fence was existing when the historic commission existed.
Correct.
So it's not a prehistoric commission fence, it's a during historic commission fence. And I have photos of it going back to the 1880s. So it's definitely,
We need to go back.
yeah, I'm just saying it's definitely the
I
original.
sent you stuff from the 1940s, so.
Yeah.
Joe, any thoughts?
I'd like to see the pictures.
Okay,
And by the way, I have dropped out of the Zoom and I'm watching you guys on YouTube and listening through the
Probably a
phone.
better way to do
okay,
this.
all right. Well, this, speaking through the phone still is easier than responding via YouTube, correct?
I watch YouTube. So.
YouTube worked. I think the problem was trying to respond because there is a delay
Right,
that I'm getting, and
right.
so I have to make up for that by just listening carefully.
Okay. But you're able to hear us, so, okay?
Yes.
All right. I think also George was more soft-spoken than some of us, so.
As a point of clarification, if we're bringing back the original fence that was in place at the time of the historic commission,
Mhm.
and having done this in the past, would I still need to send out letters to all of my neighbors, collect green cards, things along those lines?
I think the answer would be yes to that, but you're talking about, me, the Day Hills,
Yes.
Doug, what used to be the Pink House,
Yeah.
and the Morgans.
Okay.
You know,
I think aren't the green cards triggered to the application?
Pardon me?
Green cards are triggered to the application process,
Right.
not the
Not the informal process, no.
no, but the process of the application is what triggers the green card, not the
Okay.
Right.
not the context of the application, but the
No.
fact there is an application.
Right.
I think.
Right.
So
So
Given how long ago it was,
yeah,
it seemed, even though the commission existed then, it seems to make sense that an application go through. I know I'm working from the premise that we spent a lot of, I'm going on a tangent for a second, but we spent a lot of time in the past few years bringing historic district commissions files to be congruent with all the other things, all the other commissions. The lights just go?
morning,
they
a
did.
long night. It's
I can see you better.
morning. Yeah, right, morning.
And now we can look at properties according to streets and addresses, where before we had to review all that stuff according to when an application went before us. And given that the function of the commission includes basically looking at what changes and documenting what changes, this allows us to be able to say, at this time, that was done. The application that was before us earlier this evening included descriptions of windows that were put in the 1980s that frankly, well, I wasn't on the commission then, but I don't recall, Carl, do you recall then if there was even an application to replace those windows in that house? In the
The only
80s?
thing I remember is that Mrs. Anginolo changed the pediment window to a great big huge fan-shaped window
Okay.
without coming to us for permission. So we went and told her she had to remove it and go back to the previous triangular shaped one. But I don't remember any other windows being discussed. But these, basically, they're all 6/6. They all look alike. So I don't think the commission at that time was probably that concerned about
But in terms of, for people that purchase a property in the future, that want to look to restoring a property, the records are now better able to show a kind of sequence of things that have happened and things that, you know, remediations that were made and that sort of thing. And now we're able to see that sometimes things didn't come to the commission beforehand. Now we'll be able to have records so we know, not in terms of making a decision on anything, but in terms of like, have a good idea for the property owner to say, these are the things we know happened to the house. And we go from there. And you might not want to, I don't know, you might not want to have that fencing be exactly the same design. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
now
I
I'm
can-
stretching it.
I understand, yeah. So part of me was like, ooh, could this be a rapid discussion, if you will? But I do understand the concern that you want it formally documented and you want to
Right.
understand what this fence will look like. And that's part of the historic record for the application.
I think it could be I believe it could be a rapid discussion just from the fact that I'm personally aware that there's lots of photo documentation to what you
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we first have to reconstruct that wall. So it has problems, so we have to take it completely apart and rebuild it again before we can put a fence on top of it.
That's the wall that was hidden by the larch.
That wall is the wall on the south side of the house, the very tall wall. So I have labeled every stone, every row, and the mason is now disassembling it in a way that he can reassemble it the exact same way. But we've got to figure out what some drainage issues are behind the wall.
Right.
That wall was constructed in a way that most masons are kind of like, I wouldn't have done it that way now. It's, you know, an 8 or 9 foot wall and the blocks are stacked perfectly. Most masons want to check them back kind of a half an inch, right? Or have a stone wall behind it.
Is that a dry wall?
It's dry stacked, yeah. Yep, but the stones, the cut granite stones, some of them are in the 300-pound range.
That's right.
So it's held for a very long time. And we would like, when we rebuild it, for it to go another 230 years at least. But it may involve a wall system where we anchor it back to another wall. So as with anything with this house, it gets really complex.
Right.
You know, so first we have to just fix the wall and make sure it stands.
It doesn't seem that it should have to take a long time to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything more, Joe? Do you have any more questions about that project other than you want to see what it used to look like?
Exactly.
Okay. Jack, do you have his email?
I don't.
All right. Joe, what's your email address?
Mine is jbc2@comcast.net.
Okay. So Jack can put together a compilation of pictures that show you the old fence and what they want to accomplish.
Yeah. Now, just one question. Is the fence going on top of the stone?
Yes,
Behind it or what?
On
There-
top of it.
directly on top of the face of the wall. There's iron pins that it gets anchored to that come out of the stone.
The original iron pins are there.
We're using the same iron pins, or when it's not usable because it's been broken off at some point, we're going to drill a new hole in the exact same place. So the fence posts will be in the same place and anchored in the same way they originally were.
After you've got that
Wall fixed.
wall restored up, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So there's fill in between that wall and the
In the house.
house.
Yeah, that wall, the wall stands and then there are stones that create a patio on top.
Right.
which are very big granite stones from, we think, Silas Brainerd's first quarry kind of up the river.
Okay.
And those extend all the way back and touch the foundation of the house,
Okay.
which is made from the same granite stones. So it's almost a continuous design in terms of the granite
Mhm.
to the wall.
But there's fill underneath it.
Underneath it, yes, that's correct, there's fill. In the early 80s, when it was owned by the previous owner, half of the wall blew out. We have photographs of that.
Someone mortared it at some point. It's supposed to be dry laid. Someone put mortar in, and that made it a dam. So
Yeah, right.
It didn't, yeah. So when they fixed that part of it, there are two gutters that come down the side of the house. And they created drainage that now comes out the front of the wall to prevent water from building up behind, as much water from building up behind it. So it was, half the wall was fixed at one point. But even that half has moved. The foundation block, the blocks that are above it have moved about 3 inches over it. So the mason's like, wow, we've got this thing disassembled, let's just address that too. I just don't like that it's the bottom row. It'd be nicer if it were the top row.
All right, I missed that arch, but I can really understand why you had to take it down.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know.
All right, is there, I think this is the end of this particular conversation. Any other matters the chairman doesn't have anything new to add, other than I was given this packet by the planning and zoning officer to review. So we will have better communication between our respective secretaries. A change in how that will work is Ruth Zibrin will continue to be our recording secretary, and Susan Magri will work at putting together materials that we need to know about upfront and submit legal ads and other things like that. So we won't, hopefully from this point forward, we'll have a better coordination of efforts going on for us to move together. She's even put together things where she can send me stuff and I can write her back and say the response to that. So, but is there anything else anybody wants to bring up today other than we'll meet next month?
I would like to see the communication on the Zoom is somewhat improved.
I agree with you on that.
Oh, good.
I'll have to talk with Linda about that, and we're trying to figure out how things are working from, at least from this end.
Yeah, I have done Zoom with other people and have not had any problems. This is the only problem I'm having.
And you didn't have that problem well, there was,
we had to get it working last week.
yeah, we got to get it working right. You didn't have, oh, now it's finally saying that you're not connected. Wait a minute.
I think that's our camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, we got a notice that said our camera wasn't connecting. So I will bring that up with Linda, but she's left for the day, so I'll have to call her about that.
Well, at least this time we get the green light.
It's green light. Well, that's why the light came on. The load from the camera went off.
Okay.
Last time we can get the green light.
Okay, that'll work.
Shared
because
service.
the phone, I hear you, but I get this delay
Uh-huh.
watching it on YouTube, and
It's still,
it's a little difficult.
it's still disconcerting. Is YouTube still on?
Yes.
Okay. I don't see a light up there on the camera.
Which one is?
Okay. Oh, well, we got another camera up here too. All right. That said,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
And this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, David.
Oh, thank you.
Did you like those pictures that the raconteur who lived with you? I sent a couple
Yes,
paintings.
yes.
Yeah.
You heard the whole story of him? He bought the Daigle's house.
See you guys.
He bought
Bye.
the Daigle's house to house his mistress in, and that was when his wife said enough.
Right, I'd heard that.
Daigle's, not Daigle's.
Yes.
There are a number. There are some other photos that I've seen online
Yes.
that I don't know where they are.
Huh.
There's a painting that he did from up on Porges Road, looking down into my yard, and you see the Shad Shack,
I've seen that one, yeah.
and you see what looks like a privy, but it's really was like a not a privy, but a kind of shed to hold a pump, because where that is or was, we still have the top to a cistern. That
So it was a well
Where-
house.
Huh?
A well house.
like it was the well house, right?
Yeah.
And it was when we had a drought here in 2007, we tried to fill that, but that's when we learned that there were enough
Hi, Carl.
cracks in the thing that we couldn't use it.
Got it. Got it. Do you have a deep well where you are?
Oh yeah, now there's something that looks like a whiskey barrel in the yard.
Yeah.
That whiskey barrel hides the drilled well.
Okay.
In 2008, we used to have only an 11-foot dug well.
Okay. That was my question. And then after the drought in 2007, a new well was created in 2008. How deep is that well?
730 feet.
Oh boy. Okay, that's a deep well. Ours is like 500 and change.
And they had to go that far down for enough of a flow flow per gallons per second or something.
Wow.
And although at the time when we asked about the well, we had someone working at, we initially had to work with someone from Chatham Health who said we could only put a well 75 feet from our septic, but there was no septic, we had the sewer.
Yep.
But they were unyielding.
Oh, interesting.
And so they measured out from where the sump pump is,
Yeah.
75 feet, would have required us to rip out that whole wall where the old bank used to be,
Oh, yes.
that's where the well would be.
Oh.
And finally I said, you got somebody I can do an appeal with? And
Right.
that person's boss came over and said, I explained things. I said, this is historic district.
Yeah.
You're asking us to tear up, that, can we get a variance?
Yeah.
And then I said, we don't have a septic.
Oh.
And then the guys, and this was a freshly graduated student from school. I'm like, well, I'm a sanitarian, I can tell you what to do. And the long story short was, he gave us the variance, and when the sanitarian came, I said, do you understand about groundwater geology?
Yeah.
And she was like, what's that?
I think I may have left my keys in the car.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
You
go.
better go.
Will, I'm gonna go zip out and check.
We're still gonna be, I gotta put this stuff in
Okay.
Jimmy's office.
All right.
Yeah, the meeting's over.
Yeah, I don't see that I left them here, so they must be in the car. Thank you, Will.
Thank you.